Let's learn a shtickle Toldos Shimshon on Perekei Avos, Perekei Mishnah Gimel. Reb Chananya ben Tradian Omer. Reb Chananya ben Tradian says, Shnayim sheyoshvim ve'ein beineim divrei Torah. Two people that are sitting together and there's no Torah discussed in between them. Harei zeh moshev leitzim. That's called a moshev leitzim. Avos shnayim sheyoshvim ve'yesh beineim divrei Torah. But two people that are sitting and they're discussing Torah between them, Shchina shruya beineim. The Shchina is resting between them. And then the Mishnah says, Ein li elo shnayim. When two people are sitting and learning together. But minayin, how do we know shafilu echad sheyoyshiv v'oisik b'Torah? How do we know that even one person that's sitting and learning himself, Sha'akadosh Baruch Hu kevea lo yischar, that the Eibishter is going to give him schar? Shenemar, because the pasuk says, Yeshev bodod v'yidon, kinot al olav. Yeshev bodod v'yidon, even when he's sitting himself and he's quiet. And the Toldos Shimshon asks, what's the havamina that when someone's sitting and learning himself, that he shouldn't get schar, that we need the Mishnah to teach us? Minayin shafilu echad sheyoyshev v'oisik b'Torah, even a person that's learning himself, sha'akadosh baruch hu keveh lo yischar, that the Eibishter gives him schar. Of course he'll get schar. He's sitting and learning. What's the havamina that he shouldn't get schar? And furthermore, he asks, where do you see it in the pasuk? Shenema, like the pasuk says, Yeshev bodod v'yidon. He sits himself and he's quiet. Where do you see in this pasuk anything about schar? So the Toldos Shimshon says that the truth is that when someone learns himself, the Mashal explains on the Gemara Cherev al Abadim that the truth is it could be a Aveir. Because when someone learns himself, then he could end up being mater, something that's asr, because he has nobody to tell him that he's learning wrong. So one might think that if someone's learning himself, of course he's not going to get schar, because he's doing Aveir. Because when he's learning himself, he might come out with a wrong chiddush, with a wrong pshat, and he could end up being mater, something that's really awesome. So our Mishnah has to come and tell us, minayin, how do we know that when someone's learning himself, not because he doesn't want to learn with someone. He has no choice, he has nobody to learn with, but he doesn't want to be mevatel Torah. So how do we know he's going to get schar for sitting and learning? That means, of course we know, says the Toldos Shimshon, that the main schar of sitting and learning is the schar of being mechadish Torah. If someone says a new idea in Torah, he comes up with a chiddush, that's the highest schar that a person could get for sitting and learning. Now this person, when he's sitting himself and learning, he's not allowed to be mechadish anything. Because he's sitting himself and learning, he might come up with a wrong chiddush and he has nobody to correct him because he doesn't have a chavrusa. So he's not allowed to be mechadish anything. But he is learning because he wants to be kaveya itim l'Torah. So that's what our Mishnah is being mechadish. How do we know that if he's sitting and learning himself and he's not learning the highest level possible, which means chidush Torah, because he's not allowed to do that. Because when he's learning himself, he's not allowed to be mechadish Torah because he could be making a mistake. So how do we know that he still gets schar even for the kviyas itim l'Torah? You might think he's doing aver by learning himself. So our Mishnah has to tell us that as long as he's not being mechadish any Torah, he'll get schar, but it won't be the full schar. It'll be the schar for kviyas itim l'Torah. And that's what our Mishnah is teaching us. How do we know that even one person that's sitting and learning, Sha'akadosh Baruch Hu keveh lo yischar, and the Toldos Shimshon is medayik when the word keveh lo yischar, it doesn't say noisen lo yischar, because he's not going to get the full schar, because he's not learning on the high level of chidush Torah, but he is learning because he doesn't want to do bittul Torah. So that's keveh lo yischar. Keveh is coming from the lashon kviyas itim l'Torah. This alone, that he's setting aside time for learning, he'll get schar. And that would bring a pasuk shenema. Not that the pasuk is not coming to teach us that he gets schar. The pasuk is coming to bring out the point that when someone's learning himself, he's not allowed to be mechadish Torah. And the pasuk says, Yeshev bodod v'yidon. When you're sitting yourself then v'yidam, you have to be quiet from being mechadish Torah. You're only allowed to learn things that are clear that it says. Now, even though you won't get the highest level of schar, but the Mishnah is being mechadish, you'll still be kevei alei schar. You'll still get the schar of being kevei itim l'Torah. In the schus of the Zera Shimshon, may we have brocha and atzlocha b'chol ha'onyonim.